You do have a touch for the designing. It's very cute. It's modern and it's tasteful, but it's still, you know, it's really relevant for our times and the kids. I think you're so right. Jasmine, my daughter, who you always send over a book for her, which she totally appreciates and loves. And she always, first place she goes is to look at the patterns.
Yeah,
I'm not kidding you. And she looks through and she's like, okay, Mom, I want this and I want this and I want this. And I'm like, wait.
That's awesome. You know, once in a while people will say, they want to know if they can get the patterns like separately, like if we could publish the pattern separately, which I've thought about, but it would just almost be like having to print 2 books. It would be really hard to do that. It's still on my mind. I'm thinking about it. But, and then they'll say, well, you don't need the knitting patterns in the kits because, you know, kids don't knit and they don't need the pattern. And I hear that maybe 2 or 3 times a year, but
it's not.
For every time somebody says that, 10 people say, my kids love looking at the patterns. They love the instructions. And I love the photos. Like our photographer, she comes over a lot just to visit her kids, and our kids are friends. And her kids are in the book, actually. Her daughter is the one with the quilt, and her other daughter is the one in the purple tunic. And so she knows what we're working on for months. I'm like, come look at Eric's studio, see what and I'm like, here's my idea and here's my knitting. And so by the time we do the photo shoot, it's almost like she's recreating the story with the photo shoot. And so I love that kids can read a book and see these illustrated characters and places and kind of go somewhere in their mind. And then you get to the patterns and it's real. A real
Yeah.
place doing these things. And I can't really describe what that might do in your mind as a child, but I just love that.
You can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's neat that you pull the craft into the book too, because I, as a mom, as a knitting mom, really, really want my daughter to knit someday. I have like these grand visions of us sitting together and knitting away on whatever it is that we're going to be working on, and just having her be so inspired and be so crafty and love the things that I love and have that connection. And so when you put these patterns into the books, I feel like it, just because she doesn't understand what the knitting pattern means, she's still kind of absorbing what it's like to look at the pattern and to see how things work, and like you said, pull the pictures from the story and connect it into real life. So
I think that's awesome. Yeah, that's really
That's great. So no, don't listen to the people who say a children's book doesn't need that.
Yeah, I think it's neat. I think it's inspiring, and I think I hear from people, oh, my daughter can't wait to grow up and knit because she's watching me, and what kind of connection a child has with a toy that they watch somebody make.
Yeah, definitely.
Just really, really special. So I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's your idea is so spot on. I don't know. You've been on my blog for every book, so I love that. I love that you always come back and visit with us. But your vision it's right there. It's always been, and it fits so well into the crafting community as a whole, I think. So
thank you so much. It's been so neat. I mean, we had no idea. When we did Phoebe's sweater, we were like, well, let's just try this and see. We might just have like really cool baby shower gifts forever. You know, what would happen? And the response has just, we couldn't have dreamed that we would have had the response that we've had. We've reprinted Phoebe's sweater. We need to reprint it a 3rd time.
wow.
Just to go back and reprint Freddie's blanket, and we just would never, we were ready. I mean, we would have been happy to just print once. That would have been a dream for us. So we just can't even, it hasn't even sunk in yet. It's just been so.
You guys have consistently kind of put out a book about every year or so, or every 9 months, right?
It's been, we did, I mean, legally, you know, Phoebe's sweater was 2010 and Freddie's blanket was 2011. And yeah, Phoebe's birthday was 2012. So I guess it looks like that. Yeah.
So get ready. And we want to see it 2013, 2014.
Got to keep busy. We have lots of ideas, but it's just a balance of, you know, keeping it all together. So, yeah.
Definitely. You mentioned that your husband might pop in and say hi to us. Is he available?
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
yay.
I'm slide over and he can sit with me. This is my husband, Eric.
Hi.
He does work, so.
Nice to meet you, Eric. You do wonderful, wonderful work.
Thank you.
How did you get into, can I ask you a couple questions since you're here?
Yes.
Okay. How did you get into illustration originally?
Well, I always liked to draw as a child, and I just um, I always looked at pictures in books,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of how I read books when I was a kid, I
Oh,
guess. I
yeah.
just looked at pictures and admired the artwork.
Mm-hmm.
And, as I got older in school, I thought everybody drew, and
He
then
didn't know he didn't know that this isn't something everybody knows how to do.
oh yeah, and I don't know, I stuck with it and I realized I could do it. And I don't know, I, I didn't always, I always wanted to do it. And finally, with this idea, we were able to incorporate it. But,
Yeah.
um, this is really the first color illustrations I've done, so I'm glad to finally be doing it.
Yeah, they're beautiful. I can't draw anything if to save my life, but so I really admire when people have such a beautiful talent because I would love. It's like singing. I'd love to know how to sing. I just can't do it. But how do you? So I don't know anything about drawing, but what mediums do you use when you create these pages? Is it like colored pencils or is it?
Well, it's a combination. I basically, I like Beatrix Potter. I just like the way, I like people who are kind of originals, and I
Yeah,
don't know if she is, but
yeah.
I like how she used brown ink.
Mm.
But I use a sepia ink pen,
Oh, okay.
black. I just think that looks more, I don't know, real. Or
Mm-hmm. I see that now that you're saying that. I see what you're saying.
so what I use is I use the brown ink. I use colored pencils.
Mm-hmm.
I use watercolor,
Oh, wow.
mainly it. And I'm still learning. I I've gone to college, but I really didn't learn a lot there about this. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm finally just kind of making my own way.
That's good. Learn as you go. Hey, you're doing a great job, so we can't tell that you're learning. My favorite picture in the book is this one. It's the yarn store.
Yes, that's my wife likes that one a lot too.
Love that one. I want to go there and shop. Was it the most difficult to draw because of all of the small, minute details in it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, the yarn,
Yeah.
and to make it look like yarn. And
Uh-huh.
I talk to Joanna a lot and ask her opinion because I don't knit and I don't know. I know how when you do something, you know everything, the details
Right.
about it. And I want to be as close as I can. So Joanna fills me in, and I trust her advice on a lot of that. And
I was like, oh, we need a notions wall over here. And he's like,
yeah,
what's that? I'm like, field trip.
That's good. Well, when you visit yarn stores all the time, all that stuff just sinks right in. So,
yeah,
exactly.
and see it, yeah.
So I'm like, this is what the Brittany needles look like, and these are the Clover accessories, and we went through all the details, and they're in the illustration. So
yeah, it's amazing. The detail is amazing.
I want to. My role, I feel like, is I want kids to really like it.
Yeah.
So I try to make it interesting, and I think kids are smart, and
Mm-hmm.
I can always show it to my kids. And when they see something that they think is funny or something, in the rough sketches, I'm like, well, I'm definitely putting that in there then.
Yeah.
And so I want kids to enjoy the pictures and make it. I always like pictures you can look at a lot. Like I used to have Richard Scarry's books where they'd have like the little people doing things in the town all over the place, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of do that a little bit in here,
Mm-hmm.
but in my own way, I guess.
Yeah, that's really cool. Thank you so much, you guys, for visiting us. You guys are a great team. Please keep doing what you're doing because we love it. And my daughter's 11, but she still loves your books. So know that the whole range of kids out there are sitting and enjoying the books and connecting with the craft, which is what all of us moms want, I'm sure. So
yeah, awesome.
Thank you.
thank you so much for being here and being on Yarn on the House.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.